I'm Jimmy Myers, head trainer of Tampa Bay Athletics, and I'm here today with InsideBaseball.com to go over our post-game stretching routine. This is crucial. This is something you should do after every game. Do not neglect your stretching. Whether it's after practice or after a game or any physical activity in that manner, do not neglect your stretching. What we're going to do here is something similar to what we would actually do in a pre-game routine. What's different here is we're going to actually hold this position for an extended period of time. Typically when you're stretching out something, you want to hold it for at least 30 seconds. So once we get in this position, which is called a static groiner, I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds, and I'm really going to try to focus on stretching out my quad, my hamstring, my glute, and my hip flexor. What we're going to do is drop down into a plank position, a high plank, like a push-up position. We're going to drop into that position, and from here, what I'm trying to do is in one step, I'm going to drive my heel to the outside of my hand. I'm going to sink my hips down without putting my knee in the ground. That's going to give me a deep stretch in my quad, my hip flexor, my glute, and my hamstring. Look like just like this. We're going to be in a plank. Drive my left foot to the outside of my left palm. Get it all the way up there. If you don't feel like you're there yet, take a few steps, get it up there. Now from here, you can see my shin is vertical or slightly past vertical, and my butt is pushed down nice and low. I'm really trying to sink down as low as possible, and my back knee is about an inch off the ground. I don't want to touch it on the ground. I want to keep it off. So I'm driving my butt down and shifting my weight forward slightly. This is going to give you a really deep stretch in your hamstring, this hip flexor right here, and this hip flexor and this quad. Hold that for about 30 seconds. If you feel like you're ultra flexible, you could literally put your elbows down on the ground and hold this position. It'll give you a great stretch in your hip as well. Okay? We're going to do that on both sides. Make sure to do that for 30 seconds each side. So here, sink that down really low. If you want to get even more of a stretch in your hip flexor, as you sink down low, lift that chest up, take your sternum and lift it. It'll get you even more of a stretch. Feeling a great stretch throughout this groin, my hamstring, my quad, my hip flexor. Hold this for 30 seconds like we talked about, and really focus on driving this hip flexor down and forward. It's a great stretch to do. It's called a groiner. I would make sure to do this after every game because you utilize your legs a lot when you're running, pitching, hitting. These areas can get really tight, and if they get tight, it can cause injury or it can cause you to have shorter steps in your running, which will decrease speed. It can cause you to be a little bit slower throughout rotational movements, which will decrease power. So really make sure you get this stretch in. It'll really help out a lot. Once again, this is the groiner.